Hi, I'm Alex Barrett, and the film that I'm going to be talking to you about today is Lars von Trier's Medea, for no other real reason than it just happens to be the last film that I saw. As some of you may know, Lars von Trier is a Danish filmmaker. Nowadays he's probably best known for the shocker Antichrist, which opened over here last year. Medea finds him working, I think, in a different mode from Antichrist. It dates from 1988, and it was based on an unfilmed screenplay by another Danish filmmaker, Carl Theodor Dreyer. Dreyer was sort of one of the big greats of cinema. He started working in the silent period and continued making films up until his death in the 60s. And when he died, he had a number of projects that he was working on, Medea being one of them. The script is based on the play by Euripides about Medea and Jason. Jason being Jason from Jason and the Argonauts. And when we meet them in Medea, they are living post the Argonauts' conquest. And Jason has recently decided that he's going to leave Medea for another woman who happens to be the princess of the land that they are now living in. Not one to sort of take being spurned lightly. Medea decides that she's going to poison Jason's bride-to-be and is going to kill the two children that they have to take revenge on Jason. Although at times the Lars von Trier film sticks very closely to Dreyer's script, at other times it deviates very strongly, and I think it's very clear that it is a Lars von Trier film and not a Carl Dreyer film, and probably quite rightly so. One of the two big changes he made is he eliminated the use of the Greek chorus that Dreyer was going to retain, and actually you see some of the uses that Dreyer wanted in the chorus in intertitles in the Lars von Trier film. He also changed the ending. In the original play, I believe that Medea stabs the children to death, and Dreyer thought that this was too cruel and too violent an image, so he decided that he would have Medea poison the children. And in the Lars von Trier film, what we have is that Medea hangs her children, and although it provides for some very arresting images in terms of the way that, you know, they're hung from this great big tree, another change that Lars von Trier made is that he had one of the children help her to hang the other child and then kill himself. And somehow, for me, by having her son help her kill the two children, it actually makes the ending less brutal. Others disagree with this and say that it does still have the same impact, but for me it ultimately wasn't as powerful or as moving as either the original Euripides play or as Carl Dreyer's screenplay. So as I mentioned just then, there are lots of arresting visuals in the film. Something that Lars von Trier did is he filmed the whole film on video, and then he played the video back on a monitor and filmed from the monitor on a film camera, and then had this film transferred back to video. And the result of this is an extremely kind of haunting, beautiful, almost dreamlike quality. There's a particularly striking scene on the sort of wedding night between Jason and his bride, in which we have all these hanging sheets, which can't help but recall the Jean Cocteau film Beauty and the Beast, with the beautiful hanging sheets. And I think that, you know, it is a really powerful, really haunting approach that he's taken to the visuals, and there's certainly a lot of power in the images. However, you know, as I've made clear, I think I do have some reservations about the film, but it's definitely a strong piece of work with plenty to recommend it. I also feel that Lars von Trier, whether you like his films or not, is an extremely unique filmmaker, and no one else is making films quite like him, and he remains perhaps a singular cinematic talent worthy of study. And on that note, you know, I would recommend the film highly.